It's time for Nuglife Radio. /Nuglife Radio Show. Twitter at The Real Nuglife. And Instagram, Nuglife Radio. I'm your announcer, Recreational Riley. Here's Mini Mike.
Yeah, everybody, welcome to the Nuglife Radio Show, a higher level of education for the cannabis counterculture community. Listen to us live out of the Oddfellows building in beautiful San Francisco, starting as punctual at 4:03, the only show in the world that starts at 4:03. But at least we're consistent, right, Paul?
Absolutely.
Thank you for being a friend. We are coming up on Champs, going to be February 8th through the 12th, I believe. 8th through the 12th in Las Vegas, the nation's largest trade show. It's for smoke shops and glass and all that good stuff, but the entire cannabis community likes to go there and have a great time. We are live in the studio with myself and Mr. Benji Cooper. Benji, are you out there somewhere?
I'm out here somewhere.
There he is. Out there somewhere. You can listen to us live on Edge Studios Online, Edge Studios
Online on YouTube, Facebook, and
Facebook's,
Africa.
Instagram, and Africa TV, not Africa TV to be mistaken for. I thought for a while we were a huge hit in Wakanda, but apparently not. Correct, Paul?
Absolutely, not Wakanda.
All right. I am your host, cannabis comedian, stand-up comic, and event host, published author, if you like Amazon and Kindle. And, boy, Paul, you're just going to give me a seizure over here with all the screens bumping. Medicinal Mike, here with the News Nuglife correspondent and from CannaGeek.com, Mr. Benji Cooper, as in every week. Benji, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Well, I'm still working out all the hiccups from the giant boards and the flashing lights that Paul's putting. This is like a German interrogation, you know. There's a lot of lights blinking around. He's asking a lot of weird questions.
It's like what do you call it? An interrogation in there?
Yeah, that's exactly what we have going on here. Let me go over some of the headlines, and then we'll get the ground running today. We do have a great show, too. We got Zach and Chris going to be from DabX Online. We got Miss Amy Fisher from the Hemp History Museum. She's in the studio with us. My stepdad, you might see him sleeping in the corner over here. That's Dave. And then Brian's back there holding down the couch. This week in the news, Muskegon law enforcement looking for dispensary burglars. What's going on there, Coop?
Well, exactly what it sounds like. The police in Muskegon, Michigan are looking for suspects behind a series of break-ins at 4 dispensaries in the city. They haven't revealed the number of suspects, the locations of the break-ins, or what, if anything, was stolen. Officers actually interrupted 2 of the break-ins as they were happening and the suspects were fleeing, but they didn't catch them either time. And according to the police, the suspects used vehicles stolen from outside Muskegon to commit the crimes. And the police are asking anyone with information to call them or the Silent Observer, which is an anonymous crime tip reporting organization.
When has anybody been known to be sitting inside a robbery and to be seen by the police and still get away? Like, what are these, like, cartoon villains?
I don't know.
The Dastardly Gang? Oh, no, them coppers. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, I think it's an inside job. It's always an inside job is what you find out. I've yet to see a dispensary get robbed or anything to that effect without it being some pissed off security guard or somebody who has too many codes.
It's interesting. They just revealed that there was break-ins, but they didn't reveal like any pertinent details. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, inside job. Cannabis education comes to the community college. All right, I think it's actually been in the community college for quite some time. At least the cannabis has.
Oh, yeah, the cannabis has, but not necessarily the education. Well, cannabis and education have been in the community colleges, just generally kind of in their own corners. They're like kids at a junior high dance. Cannabis is over here, education's over here. Now they're finally together at the Onondaga Community College. They are partnering with the Cleveland School of Cannabis to offer education courses through the Cannabis Hub program, which covers 3 primary courses of study: cannabis cultivation science, cannabis dispensary training, and cannabis extractions. Each of the courses has 5 related general study topics. So, like, if you take the extraction course, you'll learn different methods, like, distillation. I can talk, I swear. Winterization, dry sifting, etc. And all the courses are self-paced, so you can learn as fast or as slow as you want to.
I'm a proud graduate of community college, Benji, and I bet you never would have guessed that.
Yeah?
Southern Nevada. Now it's the Southern Nevada College, but it used to be the Community College of Southern Nevada, but they changed the name. So now when I get my resume, it sounds like I went to a real college.
So what did you get your degree in then?
Hepatitis. Hepatitis. You can't catch it twice.
I hear that's a growing field.
Mm-hmm. Willie Nelson will throw a 2-day birthday bash here in April. There's not going to be many more of those, so make sure you get your tickets now.
Yeah, Willie Nelson's going to be turning 90 years old, and he's putting on a 2-day show at the Hollywood Bowl called Long Story Short, Willie Nelson 90, a star-studded concert. It's going to take place on April 29th and 30th, and among the performers, some of them rumored at this point will be Snoop Dogg,
of course,
Miranda Lambert, Ziggy Marley, Tom Jones, Sheryl Crow, Nora Jones, Beck, and Leon Bridges, which, if you haven't seen Leon Bridges, he puts on a good show. I saw him this past summer. Excellent singer. He puts on a great show. Tickets go on sale January 28th, or they went on sale January 28th at 1 p.m. And, yeah.
He looks so much better as an old man than he did as a young buck. Have you ever seen, like, the pictures of him when he was young in the 70s and 60s? And he's a creepy looking dude, man. He looks like the Penguin or a Batman villain, like he's got that weird face. But when he gets older and he's got the white coming out, and now he's like the wisest man on the mountain.
Well, guys are supposed to look better with age, right? That's how that goes?
I hope so.
From what I hear.
I hope to God.
You and me both.
I'm keeping somebody at Just for Men's kid in college, bro. Wish they could make a spray. Those are our headlines. We do have some more news coming up with the Nuglife correspondent, Benji Cooper, who can be seen at Nuglife News on Instagram. Next up on the show, I want to, and thank you, Benji, for your wonderful content and all the hard work you do. I want to welcome next on the show. This is one of the coolest things. Amy Fisher brought me one of these little devices here, and it's called the Dab X. And I've gotten to smoke off it a whole bunch, and me and my brother, and we're sucking down on this thing, and it's like I've been describing it as better than Puffco, and Puffco's always been the standard for this kind of a vaporizing device, but definitely that's just, I've been saying that all week. I'm like, you got to try this, better than Puffco. I don't even know if that's one of their selling points. They can actually see it. Okay. I'm sure you see me smoking it on the show and stuff. This one's Amy. She carries it like her child. It's never far away from her heartbeat. I want to welcome to the show Zach and Chris out there in Los Angeles. Can you guys hear me? How you doing?
We can hear you. How is everyone?
We just kept you on the longest hold in the world. Sorry about that. We had all kinds of quirks and stuff going here. Here, Amy, I'll give you some juice there. Now they can hear you too. Amy brought in this device. It's really cool, man. I don't know what you guys do there. I'm going to assume you guys are the ones that created them back in some magical forge where you pounded out the steel and blew the glass yourselves.
We have an underground layer over here. We're R&D technologies to take over the world. I mean, it's just one of the tools at the top of our toolbox.
See,
right,
guys that own hammerhead sharks that are built into wall tanks know other guys that own hammerhead sharks built into wall tanks are, and I feel that hammerhead bond. This is really the coolest product, being serious. It's really cool. I've taken this thing around and shown it off to some friends just because it's like a nice little brag toy. Like, I got the coolest new thing on the block. But I mean, you're almost going to ruin the medical marijuana because you're almost killing people with this thing.
it delivers a nice impact, doesn't it, Mikey?
Yeah, that's very good.
You know, it's funny. For the first time, we've had some doctors buy some from us and tell us that this is the first device that they could actually recommend to some of their medical patients, because when they found out what the vapor path and air path was on the device, and they're like, wow, this is the first thing that is really clean that we can recommend. And I was like, wow, I love that, because that's part of our goal is
what
to
is
make
the
devices that people can rely on.
What is the biggest difference you think from the Dab X with what's going on out there, besides just feeling like you're getting more powerful? And this isn't like a commercial or anything. Like, you just really nails you in the chest.
The main, besides the obvious, which is the hit, it's the quality of the hit. And what I mean by that is, all the other devices, and I'm not going to mention any names, but all the other devices,
rhymes with muff.
The path of the vapor and the path where the reclaim go are the same. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that means after your very first hit in any other device, all subsequent hits, the vapor that is created gets pulled through dirty, mucky chambers with reclaim and potentially some mildew, and it's a silicone dirty chamber that's had reclaim sitting in it and moisture for days. So it's disgusting. We don't think anybody would ever want to draw air through a cavity like that. So our device doesn't do anything like that. Our vapor and our reclaim go in completely opposite directions. So when the vapor is created in the atomizer, it exits directly into the glass and water. So that the experience, you're getting a much cleaner hit every hit.
Now, is reclaim safe to smoke?
Oh my God, yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because I've been smoking that shit for years.
It's also great for edibles.
It's great for edibles. And what's really
and
cool
pain
is
bombs.
The way our device works is the temperature is really low. So that reclaim that comes through the other side, it hasn't been heated very much. So it's really, really clean. It's funny because I had all these connoisseurs telling me, they're like, man, I love to smoke that. And I was looking at them like they were crazy. And I couldn't believe it either, because I'm like, you guys have access to unlimited amounts of unbelievable hash rosin and whatnot, but you're smoking the reclaim? They're like, oh man, some of it's so good. I'm just like, okay. Didn't know that. So
what was the inspiration behind the Dab X? Did somebody smoke off one of the other brands and go, I could do this?
No. Actually, all the patents on all the e-rigs that exist, I own the patents on all this technology, including all the other brands that are making e-rigs. Right now, they're copying off my technology, and there will be a time that they have to answer for that.
Right, let them make some money first.
Yeah, we started as a technology
then you
company.
Take it from them.
We were creating the technology. We started filing the patents in this space in 2013, and filed the patents for this type of technology in 2015. And then long before anybody heard any of those other brand names or anything. And then just took a couple of years to develop the technology better. We wanted a platform that was truly reliable, quality, and a unique experience. We wanted to solve what we thought were the major problems with all the other devices.
The suction cup holder on the top scares the hell out of me. I just don't believe in physics enough that I'm willing to risk, the frame of the smokeware on what if the suction doesn't work enough, and then, oops.
It's actually only designed to lift it up out of the bag. It's not supposed that we used to have a sticker in there that said "Don't carry with this."
Amy's swinging it around her head.
Yeah, it's definitely not designed for that. I agree with you completely.
Look what it can do.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not designed for. We're like, man, I really hope people don't do that, because there's going to be some people that have a really bad day.
Oh, yes. One thing, though, I must say is that we need to design a cover, because it is the largest come pull me over beacon that there is. I'm sorry.
You're not supposed to be smoking it while you're driving.
Well, I don't like smoking at the rest stop either while I'm taking a rest and having it blink and having everybody watch me either.
She's smoking while she's driving, and it's blinking red and green. Is there anywhere you can
we got to
make
come up with a discreet cover that maybe looks like you're drinking a protein shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's work on it, guys. Come on now, I need it.
I want Amy's route home so I don't drive a lot. Swerving all over the road with the lights going. There's a cloud in the car. I think that's out a big cloud, too, so no one can see in the vehicle. She's going to make you famous when she gets pulled over.
You guys haven't seen the go-karts that go on there.
I know. I really want to try out the rest of your products, guys.
What's
we would love to send you more products.
What's the go-karts?
The go-karts, this device we have 1 and 2 gram refillable cartridges, like a cartridge system that goes on here. So, for instance, people that have access to, like high-quality oils, or say you have access to a lot of hash rosin and you want to melt some hash rosin down, and you want to have it in a tank, like the convenience of a vape pen, but the quality of a dab out of a rig on tap.
I got to see the product, and I was intrigued, but I had already spent most of my spending money while I was there. Big show.
Well, we'll be happy to send you some goodies that you can try. We're happy to always do that.
Yeah,
what we do is a labor of love, because we know and believe that people should have access to great products.
So where can and it's cool, and that's the big thing too. Before I put a nail in this, you don't see new stuff coming out very much anymore. Back in the day, before the Proposition 64 and they screwed up legalization, you would see something new everywhere at all these events. You'd have like the dude that built the blowtorch built into the dab rig that has the space robot arms on it, and this is the first new product that's actually has some uniqueness to it that I've seen come out in like at least a couple years.
Well, thank you. We've got a bunch of cool accessories and things that are kind of come out to complement what we call the whole DabX experience, because it's not just a rig. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that ties together, from how it gets cleaned, other things that fit together. Like, we have a cleaning accessory that's coming out that allows you to clean the whole device.
How much wax are you supposed to put in there for one dab? This is like a giant debate we have around here, because Amy's using a melon baller.
All right.
Yeah, like she has to empty the reclaim chamber every dab.
Going strong.
But what is like the recommended amount?
Well, it just really all depends on,
because a lot's going to spill over if it's right. If I put too much in there, it's not all going to get the heat, and I'm just going to lose it.
You can't put too much in, but if you put too much in, you will get more reclaim, because once the chamber, if there's a lot of product in there, if you're not smoking it on the fly and it's all warm, you're going to have, when you're smoking, every time you stop drawing and that pressure spike, when you're drawing and the water's aerated because you're drawing air through it.
Right.
When you stop drawing and the aeration ends and the water falls, it sends a pressure spike down through the device, which is what you'll see when you're smoking and you stop drawing and you see the smoke come out the four sides where the air inlets are.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see that little wisp of smoke come out. That's that pressure spike. And that pressure spike is what will send a little bit of reclaim over. So if you have too much product in it and you're not smoking it on the fly, you'll get a little too much reclaim. I have guys that smoke all day that get no reclaim at all, and it's just about the ratio of how much product they put in.
Size.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see your reclaim chamber right. Let me pop open your reclaim chamber.
Right? Did you guys make any of the reclaim medallions yet?
I just emptied it and put it in the freezer to use.
It's like a new currency at Burning Man for her, like these little reclaim coins.
Yeah, me too. Like I want to get the whole thing out in one piece, so it even has the brand on the bottom, so it looks like this perfect little like bar.
Yeah,
like a little chocolate
should be
bar
collected and donated to homeless people.
Right. Right.
Well, where can people find you? How can they get a hold of you if they want to see it themselves?
You can find us on the gram at DabX or on our website at dabx.com.
TikTok?
We're not on TikTok, just the gram and the internet right now. But we're going to be at a bunch of shows this year and just trying to get active wherever we can. You know, again, we're a new brand. We're not a new company, but we're a new brand. And we've put a lot of time and effort in trying to make, you know, a brand that has the quality and capability that people are never going to forget. And they're going to look for in the future.
Well, if you guys are ever out on the bay, come on in. We'll have you in the studio.
We'd love that.
Pet our
Vice
shark.
versa, if you guys come down here, we'd love to show you our secret lair and how all the magic comes together. Because we literally do everything. Everything is done here. You can see where all the R&D is done. We have a full R&D lab with a half dozen 3D printers. We've got 5-axis,
Can I bring a
7-axis,
puppet?
3-axis CNC machines, injection molders. I mean, we got literally everything you need to make tech.
Can I bring a
and
puppet?
it's all done around this cannabis
I have a
environment.
puppet that I film educational cannabis stuff with. It's an expensive puppet. It's not a cheap puppet. Like $800 puppet.
Well, if you're ever in the area,
Professionally.
man, we'd love to have you down here too. So let me know.
No.
Yeah,
I
we
can't wait
are.
to see you guys at Champs.
We're not going to be there personally this week.
Way to bring up a sore subject, Amy.
But we're going to be doing the next one we're doing is Span.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll see you guys in Barcelona. I'm bringing my museum out, so look forward
All right.
to hanging out, and let me know if you guys want to tag along with me when I do my dispensary tour, and have your product on the table and get the word out. I'd love to have you
I
guys
would
there
love
with
that.
me.
Let's link up before then if possible.
Oh yeah, no, not a problem, sweetie. I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, but
Yeah, call him on the cell phone. Call him on the cell phone.
Talk with you guys later.
Zach,
Have
Chris,
a great day, guys.
thank you guys
Thank you.
very much. Appreciate you. And don't forget
you.
to check them out at DabX. That's Dab letter X on Instagram, Facebook, and all the other cool things out there. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Nuglife Radio Show. That was DabX, one of the most awesome people in the world, making one of the most awesome products. It's this giant, cool smoking device you can put all your concentrates in, and it's fantastic. And Amy brought her to us, and they're awesome for that. And this is Nuglife Radio out of Edge Studios in beautiful San Francisco at the Oddfellows building. And in the back on my right is my devil's advocate who tells me all the great advice. I'm supposed to have an angel and a devil, and I just get a Paul. It's like a yin-yang thing. So we appreciate that. Paul's the one running anything. If you have a show out there and you want to be famous, or at least podcast famous, all you have to do is come down to Edge Studios or Paul Brumbaugh. If you learn how to spell it, that's actually the key you need to have access into the thing, because we're never going to spell it for you, right, Paul?
Right. Absolutely not. Sound it out.
Sound it out. Brumbaugh. Benji Cooper. Oh, there's my stepdad, too. You can see him. Are you having a good time, Dave? Let me see. I'll get your mic on for you.
Yes, I am.
Are you having fun?
How's it
You're
going?
doing it. You look stoned. Benji, can you see Dave at all?
No.
I can't see anything, and actually, your audio's kind of cutting in and out.
No, you sound great.
Oh, thank you.
It did cut a little, but you sound good. Now we got to do news for like half an hour.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about
3
it.
stories. We can take 10 minutes on each one of them.
We could do this. Ready, guys? 10 minutes. Oh, we're going to turn Amy's
We're
mic
up for the
on.
challenge.
Everybody's mic's on. All right, 10 minutes a story. 3 stories.
Sounds like a
Next.
challenge.
No, just fine.
Oh, man.
Welcome to the second half. Oh, wait. Nuglife News with Benji Cooper, the Nuglife News correspondent at Nuglife News on Instagram. And here's the news with Benji.
So earlier this month, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear signed an executive order that brought medical cannabis access to thousands of Kentuckians. He signed a separate order the same day that implemented regulation in the state for Delta 8 THC. And Governor Beshear said, with his limited executive powers, the orders represented a balanced approach to the issue. Under the current policy, Kentuckians with qualifying conditions may possess up to 8 ounces of cannabis for medicinal use. And the list of qualifying conditions includes cancer, multiple sclerosis, PTSD, muscular dystrophy, neurological diseases, including epilepsy, chronic pain, and others. Last week, Governor Beshear told the Herald Ledger that the executive order provides relief to thousands of Kentuckians suffering from PTSD, including many of our veterans. To parents with children having seizures every few minutes or every few seconds, all deserve the opportunity for medical marijuana or medical cannabis. And I agree completely. There's no reason in 2023 cannabis medicine shouldn't be available to anyone who needs it. Half of the country has legalized it, and the reefer madness days are over, no matter how much some people try to cling to them. Medicinal cannabis should be available to everyone. I'm extremely happy that Kentucky has access to it now, even though they have a list of qualifying conditions, though I think some of those you might be able to I think they might be a little bit broad. Like PTSD, there's all kinds of causes for PTSD, so that could affect a large portion of the population of the state. So they would be eligible under that.
Well, that's a serious racing state, too. I was just speaking with somebody from Kentucky, and they are, like, very into the horses out there. So it's a lot of rural. So, I mean, any kind of a win when you're dealing with that Bible Belt, or heavy religious background is a nice small step, like the Georgia, South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee.
Absolutely.
That is not enough enthusiasm, sir. Amy, what do you think about God and weed in the church?
Oh, jeez. I lived in Texas in the Bible Belt.
I believe they go hand in hand. In fact,
few months, so it was not much fun. They're not a very forgiving bunch of people. I'm glad they're finally coming around. I really am. In fact, Texas actually is opening up more medical marijuana dispensaries, as really they only have two of them, I believe, right now, and they're in the middle of the state. So if you live in Texas, you got like a day drive to go and buy your cannabis legally in the state of Texas.
All right, 2 points, Amy Fisher.
I believe you can get Delta 8 in Texas. I believe
Delta 8 is the biggest crock of shit.
I agree, Michael.
Like, I tell you, I've went down to Ohio where they are, in Missouri and all these places where they don't have cannabis, and I see why they're smoking Delta 8. Oh, if you're out there listening, 415-757-0676, that's our number. And it's a crock of crap. I mean, and I feel like they're brainwashed, because when I go in, I'll be like, hey, you want to hit this joint? And they're like, no, I'm smoking my Delta 8, bro.
Or their hemp CBD.
And that's bullcrap too.
I know.
But at least with Delta 8,
the O'Douls of cannabis.
Right, exactly. Like you feel something, but it lasts for like 5 minutes. It's barely there, and I mean, it's probably good if you've never smoked weed before. But if you smoked weed in any way, shape, or form, you could not want this Delta crap. And I think of it. I feel bad. Like, hey, sponsors, if you're listening, Delta 8. I don't even know how I wake up in the morning.
What I was actually doing was I was hitting Delta 8 in combination with HHC using 2 pens, like literally using 2 pens at once.
But that's before when you couldn't get high, like medically,
HHC
right?
Is hexahydrocannabinol. So it's another cannabinoid that's produced in small amounts in nature, but they found a way to synthesize it from, I think it was in the 1940s when they first synthesized HHC.
But why are you smoking that crap? Why not just smoke the joint? You couldn't smoke the joint at the time.
Because it was sent to me as a product sample.
Oh, so you were forced. Bribed. Dare I say bribed?
I try it too, but I can see something like that being usable by someone who doesn't want something super heavy. Delta 8, I can see some people that fitting in perfectly with their lifestyles.
Well, it would be great for seniors.
I mean, there's people who drink.
Don't you start with that senior crap unless it's about what he's talking about.
Yeah, leave me out of it.
Say that last part again, Benji. Amy was trying to interject her old Silver Fox Club into it again.
What was that?
What?
But,
What?
hey.
Repeat your last sentence or two because you got cut off.
Yeah.
Oh, I did.
Yes, sir.
I think it would be usable by people who don't want something that's super heavy. I'm talking about like you look in like the alcohol world. There's people that drink, what is that stuff? Michelob Ultra, I think it's called. Like people who don't want something super heavy, something that's just kind of maybe a lighter version. And I don't know what Delta 8's effects are compared to Delta 9. There may be some different benefits that it offers.
I feel like education takes all the fun out of pot. Like, man, pot used to be fun where it was like, we're getting high. Well, how? I don't know, man. It's just whatever's in this magical plant. I'm getting stoned, and let's try smoking other plants. You ever do that? Smoke the just like to see if it carries. I'm not the only one.
I smoked oregano inadvertently.
No, we added some mushrooms to a bowl. It was quite nice.
That's crazy. You're like, I just can't get high enough on these mushrooms. How can I get higher?
It worked.
Let's smoke them.
Might have a connection on some experts on HHC and Delta 8, and I could. I've been in contact with one company, and they presented it to them, so I'm waiting on their answer.
Delta 8 people wear suits all day, every day.
What's that?
There's no Delta 8 stoner. They're just like business people.
Well, if people weren't buying,
is that your nails? Is that your nails I'm hearing?
Making them.
Oh, I picked up the sticker.
I would say.
Oh, Delta 8's
some
crap.
people must like them.
Unless I'm being sponsored by them, that stuff is crap. If you're buying it, you're being ripped off. If you're gonna get high and get the benefits medically from the plant, go with the whole cannabis and get all the full spectrum. In my opinion.
I would agree.
All right. Thank you for agreeing.
But I believe Delta 8 has its place. It occurs naturally. It's just they found a way to make it from hemp.
Do you get high from Delta 8? Were you like, whoa, this Delta 8 has me ripped?
It was pretty mild. It wasn't bad.
That's what everyone said. Everybody's voice goes up an octave when they talk about Delta 8.
They also, it goes up an octave when they
large hits.
Every time you ask somebody Delta 8, Benji, then it's like, oh, well, it's kind of... The voice just raises up to the ceiling.
I get that with owning the hemp museum because everybody asks me about the hemp CBD, and I tell them, please don't take it. Go and get
Why not?
spectrum.
CBD is CBD. If you're isolating
if
it,
you're hemp
the
CBD,
cannabinoid
if you're
is the
using
same
hemp
no matter what
CBD,
plant
it's
it comes
more of
from.
like taking a
The
Motrin,
compound
and
is
it's
the
not
same.
regenerating your
how
cells.
is hemp CBD different from cannabis-driven CBD?
Okay, well, the hemp CBD works as a temporary fix, as where the THC we have found works.
No, we're
as a
talking
better-
CBD for hemp or CBD for cannabis.
Well, I like CBD for cannabis better. I don't smoke CBD hemp. I advocate for people.
You don't smoke
to-
CBD at all.
I have.
Most people
I
don't.
have.
I see you doing these
but
giant
I don't
dabs.
Like it. I use CBD cream.
She does these giant ass dabs. There's no way she's gonna even waste time
I've
smoking
got CBD
CBD.
isolate that I've smoked and
Like-
stuff that helps
I
with
smoked
pain.
CBD. It wasn't potent.
No, it's not, but it helps
It
with
was
pain.
nice. It made me feel kind of pleasant, but it wasn't like you got high off of it.
No, I'm
No,
not.
I mostly use CBD creams.
Not a fan. Not a fan at all. What else you got in the news? Shoot me.
Well, let's see. Hang on a second here.
I know I just didn't zip through your news stories.
No, that was the first.
That was the
story,
first one,
and
right?
It took us
Okay.
5
That
minutes
was the first
instead of
one.
3.
All right, so
We were looking for 10 minutes. We were 5 minutes shy.
The USDA has granted nearly $5 million to a collaborative hemp initiative. The initiative is called Climate Smart Fiber Hemp, a versatile threat connecting the nation's underserved farmers, climate change mitigation, and novel market opportunities. Short title. Tennessee State University is leading the initiative in a partnership with the Hemp Alliance of Tennessee, the University of Tennessee, and the Tennessee Department of Agriculture. The grant comes from the USDA's Partnership for Climate Smart Commodities program, which is investing more than $1.3 billion in 141 projects. The focus is on growing markets for the American climate smart commodity producers who provide significant benefits for small and underserved producers. The Hemp Alliance of Tennessee's president, Frederick Cawthon, says Tennessee can become a leading producer of hemp in the southeast United States. We are committed to growing this industry responsibly, and we encourage all industries to examine how they can utilize this climate-smart and regenerative raw material. After punishing people for cannabis for so long, decade after decade, it's nice to see the federal government is starting to support it.
We're like a weed show for old people. Like when stoners get old, this is what they're going to listen to.
Hey, we're over 50.
When they're driving their Teslas by then are going to be like 20 years old. The kids are going to be sleeping in the back, and we're going to be teaching them with the smooth jazz sounds of cannabis.
Nuglife Radio.
USDA, I thought was for milk.
United States Department of Agriculture.
Anything that comes out of the ground.
So it is for milk.
For milk and every other thing that grows in the United States.
Oh, that's good to know. I don't know. Once you get into the laws and the stuff, my brain is just like, nope. I don't think they should be regulating anything with cannabis unless it has molds, mildews, or pesticides. That should be the only thing they're looking for. Otherwise, everybody should be able to just farmers market style that shit. Benji, there, your face freezes. Sorry.
Like any other agricultural crop in this country, everything's regulated under some organization.
Even like saccharin.
But this story, the USDA is granting about $5 million. I mean, they're designating $1.3 billion to 141 projects, but this is $5 million for a hemp initiative in Tennessee.
Now, is that all going to one person?
And the hemp industry is starting to really. It's kind of at the start of its kind of resurgence because of the 2018 Farm Bill. That really kind of kicked things off. And it's taking some time for policies to get implemented and wheels to start turning, but we're starting to see some gears moving. And it's to me, it's encouraging because this is what people have been.
Well, I think it's just because the stoner generation
for decades.
The stoner generation is finally getting old enough to where they're getting into office and being able to make some of the more educated decisions when it comes to cannabis. And I think as we get older, you're just going to see it.
So long.
Say again?
They lied about everything for so long, even because when it was first criminalized, they used all kinds of things that just weren't true. They used.
Now, do they address this? Has anybody ever addressed this with them, or they just skid right over it?
Okay, well, the Medical Association actually wrote a letter in the 1939, I believe, asking that cannabis not be taken away from patients and explained why it should not be taken away. It's one of the documents I have in my museum. So it was not a medical association. It was a government decision about farming and wood and Philip Morris family and everybody else.
But now in today's society, have they ever answered or responded or addressed any of the falsehoods that they have put out in the prior?
Do they ever?
No. Okay, well that's cool.
Needed was it Harry Anslinger's department? He needed funding for his department because alcohol prohibition was ending, and so if he didn't find something to go after, there was going to be nothing to do. So they started in on cannabis, and we know the history. What happened after that?
No, tell me. We have 8 more minutes to kill in this story. No, I'm just kidding.
What's that?
I said no. Tell me this story.
Decades of criminalization. Millions arrested.
Jebediah pot seed. Yeah, millions.
Possession of pot. Yeah.
Who was?
I was.
How long were you arrested?
3 years.
And for possession of how much pot?
3 pounds.
You're saying it's so far away. You got to talk into the thing.
3 pounds.
So they only gave you 3 years for 3 pounds?
Yes.
But back then, did you get off early or? Usually it would be longer, right?
Yes, usually longer.
What'd you do in those 3 years?
Whatever I could. Yeah.
In jail?
Yeah.
Whatever you could. In jail. Yeah, nowadays, you see people that have been held up. Now they're getting released, but Jeff Mazinski was in for 20, 22 years. Everybody else we know was in for other drugs too, though. Boston George. I always try to bring him up when I'm talking about cannabis crusaders. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Did some other stuff. What else you got in the news?
It's going to take a while
More
to
news.
do all all the stuff, because it was 80 years and it's still not federally legal. Over half the states have implemented medicinal, and around half have implemented adult use. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah, more time. You see people on other charges get off. You see people like that commit murders and stuff that don't get, they'll get 18 years, but then they'll give somebody who had 500 pounds of weed and trafficking it or whatever, like 25 years.
Or life.
It's
or life, yeah. There's people that do life in prison.
Inconsistent standards.
Oh, that's cool. What else you got? Please tell me you got more news. You got anything fun, bro? Where's the fun story?
What a bummer. What a buzzkill.
God. Trapped.
Oh,
Little girl floats away with a string of too many balloons. Where's those kind of stories?
To feel good.
Well, speaking of federal regulations, the FDA has finalized guidance for using cannabis and cannabis-derived compounds in clinical research. The guidance outlines standards and requirements for investigational new drug applications that involve cannabis. And the first area is sourcing. Now, the National Institute on Drug Abuse's supply program currently now is not the only domestic federally legal source for clinical research cannabis anymore, and researchers may now get it from other places as long as they are DEA authorized. The second area deals with recommendations on testing and data collection and presents the appropriate United States pharmacopoeia chapters for testing quality and analysis of packaging and delivery systems. The third area deals with calculating THC concentrations and determining control status. In general, the FDA's guidance covers how sponsors of investigational new drug work can address basic standards before completing a new drug application. Currently, the only FDA-approved cannabis pharmaceutical... Shut up. Pharmaceuticals used to treat epileptic conditions. So, finalizing guidance will give researchers a clear path for sourcing, testing, and securing approval for cannabis and cannabis-derived drugs. And I'd say because of this, medical cannabis research is about to take off in the United States.
Like in matches or comparison to like Israel and Jerusalem and all those places that are like dominating.
We're going to start, I believe, because of something like this. Previously, there was no guidance, so there was no rules, no regulations behind cannabis testing. Everything was very stringent. I believe this is going to open it up, and we might actually start to become a competitor for Israel when it comes to kind of cannabis research, developing cannabis-based medicines. Because, again, there's only one that's legal in the United States, one that's approved by the FDA, and that's Epidiolex.
What about, like, Marinol? That's a synthetic.
That's a synthetic, and that's been around since, like, the 80s, I believe.
So, now, has anybody actually cured anything yet? Because, like, if I'm getting medicine and they're like, we gave you this weed, and it's in pill form or whatever, I'm still going to get the same effects from smoking weed, right? That's, like, it's not... Well, what are they going to do different by putting it in a pill? Why not just give them the plant and go, here, cure?
What kind of pills do you ever get from the doctor that they tell you to smoke?
Well, I would imagine you could smoke them all, bro. You just got to crush them up.
Well, of course, but they never
snow-capped mountains. Yeah. That's what we call that. Yes, but they're
smoking is the most basic form. It's burning, which causes the decarboxylation of the THC, so you can get high off of it. But it's not. I would say it's not the best delivery method.
Sublingual.
What's that?
Sublingual.
That's one of the better methods. From what I've read and from what I've heard, people say that suppositories are actually one of the most effective methods of delivery.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Ingestion is a popular one.
If you're at home, I'll bring you next week.
I'm wearing one right now.
You can test it out.
I work here with children, Benji. Children.
It's hard to get them lit that way.
What's that?
I says I work here with children over here. You said suppositories, and the whole room went crazy.
Everybody's ears perk up.
No, buttholes.
In the boot.
All the buttholes perked up here. It was like a nest of baby birds. Cheep, cheep, cheep.
It's the San Francisco salute.
Yes. It's got
I've never personally used them, but that's what I've read.
I used one once.
I'm a fan of the edibles.
Remember when we had Sierra Land and it was the big Tommy Chong thing and all that? So they gave us a bunch of suppositories to try out, but I learned that they get hot. Like you can't get them warm; they have to stay cold. Otherwise, it's like pushing a crayon against a doorknob. Like it's just it doesn't work like you think. Then you're just trying to get what you can, where you can, and, it's a big old mess.
That's a great visual.
Get yourself
Thanks
lubed up for your next visit. That's what you're doing.
Thanks for that visual.
I just lubed up the first one for the second one.
Either way, it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, you get squishy butt, because it's like a coconut oil. So then what doesn't come in, gravity takes care of, and you're sitting around with squishy butt.
If you do it right, it's going to be like an ice cube.
Yeah, and you're so stoned you don't care. You're like, oh, I'm like butthole high right now, and squishy. Yeah, that's how Tommy Chong cured himself. So if you want to cure your cancer, put it in your butt.
Sounds legit.
All right. If you're just tuning in, yeah. All right, well, that's good to know that putting stuff in your butt, if you're just listening, it's the moral of the day, will get you higher. There's some people who can pull air into their butt, so technically you could smoke a joint with your butt, and you would be pulling, it wouldn't go through your lungs, but I would imagine the THC would still permeate that thin membrane that is your butthole. Science. This is science. This is real science right here. Right? If you could pull air, because you can pull air.
Science experiments here.
So you could potentially smoke a joint.
Sponsors to the show.
You could smoke a joint with your butt.
I believe that is possible.
So, all right. See that? You guys were laughing, and this is real stuff. Someday you might get crazy glue on your lips, and you can't smoke for some reason or breathe or anything, and the only thing you can do is you got a joint in your butthole, and now you know how you can ingest that joint with your butt.
You can't breathe. Getting high is going to be the least of your worries.
I want to know how you exhale. Just comes out your mouth.
I've taken nose dabs before.
So,
those are fun.
What'd you do? The nasal?
Nose dabs. Yeah.
Nose dabs. We used to call those back in the day hot rails. Hot rails. You call them nose dabs now when you're a kid, but when you take the metal thing and you go, yeah, that's a hot rail. Look, all the older cats
doing the
here.
normal dab procedure with the banger and the rig and everything, but just through the nose instead of mouth.
Have you ever tried the nasal spray?
It works. It kind of burns a
like
little bit.
There's weed nasal spray you can shoot up into your nose.
Yeah, eye drops too.
Really?
No, you can't shoot eye drops in your nose.
No, but I'm saying have eye
I'd be
drops
willing to
now
try
too
some
for getting
cannabis
high.
nasal spray.
Yeah, I have seen eye drops. I got the homie owns that company, Robert or Ron. I can't remember.
Mediment.
Is that right? Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, and they'll go around squirting this stuff in your eye. I met them in Jamaica, and we're out on the beach, and I have contact lenses. They're like, oh, it works with contacts, too. And I'm like, cool. And then they squirted it, and everything was clear again. We were singing that, I could see clearly now, because it was the eye drops, and we were in Jamaica. It made sense. All right, so, Benji, what else do you have in the news that isn't in your butthole?
That's
it.
That is the cannabis nug news. If you want more nug news from me, head on over to Cannageek News or Nuglife News on Instagram, or you can head over to my website, cannageek.net.
The sweet sounds of cannabis jazz. Cannageek.net, make sure you check it out. We're always learning stuff here. That was like sitting through an algebra class today, Benji. That was all the big words. Everything had a sh in it, or it was like hard consonants. And I'm like,
you should feel about 7.36% smarter.
I do. I feel like I've learned that USDA is not just for milk and meat.
Correct.
Hey, you can smoke a joint out of your ass.
Yeah, you can smoke, you smoke a joint out of your ass. That's now a science fact. I feel like you'd go viral on something if you did it.
Well, like
What?
I said, science
You go viral, you have
work,
to-
guys, come on.
Stick the joint in your butt and hiccup. That's how you get the smoke in. You hiccup, and then the smoke goes up, and just like that, you're stoned through your butt. butt stoned.
Give a whole new meaning to crappy weed.
I like the flavor.
We smuggle into prison crappy weed.
Yeah, it's the prison
I used
pocket.
to say that's
This
the
tastes
shit.
like Labrador.
Yeah, that's the shit, yeah.
That's what weed is. Weed smokers will smoke weed. You can find weed on the ground. You don't care how long it's been there, anything. Somebody brought it in their butthole, their vagina hole, their back of their throat, pulled it up with a string. You'll be like, I don't have a joint. I'll smoke that joint. That's a great thing. Well, follow Candy Geek. Amy, where can people find you in your hemp museum?
Okay, Amy Fisher 420 on Instagram, Amy Fisher on Facebook, and we also have a Traveling Hemp Museum page on Facebook right now.
Paul, you got anything you want to add into life today?
No, other than check out everything Ed Studios does online at edstudios.com.
I would actually like to thank Leap Magazine for including our elder.
Oh, yeah. Amy is on the cover of a magazine.
On the inside. We're on the inside.
The
on the
cover, if you fold it right.
Yeah, if you fold it right. We're on the third page with all of the...
Hold it up for them.
Okay. Here you guys go.
You can see she's the third blur to the right.
Yeah, I'm at the bottom on the right.
And then you're in Skunk
Magazine. And then
Magazine?
I'm also in Skunk Magazine as the female highlight of the month for the Traveling Hemp Museum.
I love Julie. She's so hot.
I love
I have
Julie,
such
too.
a crush on her.
Yes, and I'm really excited about next week's guest. We have Ken Estes coming in to see us next week.
And whom is Ken Estes?
Ken Estes is Mr. Granddaddy Purple himself. He has been touring different colleges and universities for the last several months and giving college students speeches about cannabis.
Does he grow Granddaddy Purple still?
No, he is not. He's working on
He
new
better
genetics.
have some gosh dang Granddaddy Purple. You don't get to be like
He's
every time.
coming in next week, so I'm sure he'll bring you
Like when we
something.
bump into Bubba Kush, I'm like, "Do you have Bubba Kush on you?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh."
Okay, well, what did you think about the Mendo Gardens Dirty Skittles today?
Was that? Did we know a guy from Mendo Garden Dirty
That's
Skittles?
Jesse. That's the farmer I had on the show. He's
Oh, yeah,
coming
yeah,
to get
Jesse.
me hot every week.
Yeah, he grows. I love Jesse. He's got the purple octane.
Yep.
We love Jesse's
for
weed.
Pluto OG.
But if his name was like Granddaddy Purple, and then you didn't have Granddaddy, I don't care if he was like, "No, I got some silver haze on me." I'd be like, "No, no, we came here for the Granddaddy Purple." I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this wonderful madness. Hopefully, the first 5 minutes of the show wasn't in mute, which is why we saved the good stuff till the end, because that's how we roll. Benji, anything wise words?
Don't eat the yellow snow and always watch the skies.
But not at the same time, or you might eat yellow snow.
Right.
Make sure you check out Amazon's The Trail of Tears. I wrote a book. I want you to read it. It's awesome. It's not about weed. It's for young adults, and it's fiction. And there's like 9 other books named The Trail of Tears. So you got to say The Trail of Tears, Michael Bors, and it'll pop up.
Stay on.
I got a check from them for like $50 from Amazon. So I think I'm a bestseller. I'm not sure how much money you make when you sell a lot of books. But if it's $50, I am killing it. Killing
New York
it.
Times is going to be calling any minute now.
50 or 15, I'm not sure. I can't remember. Whatever it is, if that's the bestseller bonus prize, then I got it. Also, Champs, again, February 8th through the 12th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Make sure you check them out. It's the most awesome show, and the after parties are amazing. We're going to have the people from Bongathon, like 20 of them, piling out to do some bong races out there. So look for them. And that's about all I got. Paul, anything? No?
Yeah, I appreciate it, and we appreciate you.
All right, don't smoke fentanyl when there's good crocodile there. All right, thanks everybody. Nuglife Radio, a higher level of education, and we are out till next week with Canistas. Canistas.
We are.
Hit the goddamn button, Paul. We are done.